Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's NinjaTrader ecosystem event, Conquer Discipline and Consistency by Building Your Trading Mental Edge. My name is Thomas, and I'm a platform representative here at NinjaTrader. Now, before we start the webinar, I have a few housekeeping notes. Now, this webinar is presented by NinjaTrader LLC, which is a technology company responsible for developing and supporting the NinjaTrader trading software. Brokerage-related questions should be directed to NinjaTrader Brokeraging using the phone number or email on the screen. I'll also be posting it in the chat. And if you are new to NinjaTrader, please make sure you sign up for a free NinjaTrader account, which includes access to 14 days of complimentary real-time market data. Our platform is always free for advanced charting, strategy back testing, and trade simulation. You can create your free account by clicking the following link on the screen, then clicking Get Started under the Welcome section. And before I turn the mic over to Kreda, it is important to understand that futures, foreign currency, and options trading contain substantial risk and is not suitable for every investor. It is possible to lose one or more than one's initial investment. Risk capital is money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle. Only risk capital should be used for trading, and only those with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. And please remember that these training sessions are not a solicitation or recommendation, but simply educational in nature. Now, thank you again for joining us today. Without further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome to the NinjaTrader webinar room, Kreda. Take it away, Kreda.
Thanks, Thomas, for the introduction there. And I'm just going to share my screen, get everything ready. Okay. And so I'm going to just give you a little bit of an introduction to myself so that you know who I am and why I'm here talking to you today. So my name's Kreda Sheehy-Kelly, and I'm a high performance and trading psychology coach. And I've been working in the high performance arena for over 16 years now. So I've been coaching leaders in entrepreneurship, finance, business, professional sport, aviation, and lots of other high performance domains. And I basically help people to master their mental edge to reach the full level of their potential in these arenas. But I actually qualified as a sport and performance psychologist initially. And then I worked with professional athletes for many years, helping them to win championships and gold medals. And I moved into the trading space 4.5 years ago now. And I've been working almost exclusively in this space since then. So I work one-to-one with traders and also through webinars and online programs to help people to gain a mental edge to increase their performance in the market. So that's who I am and what I'm about. And in this webinar today, sorry, 1 second, I just have to get this working. So in this webinar today, we're going to talk through 3 key things really. So my first aim is, obviously, if you're here and you're watching a trading psychology webinar, you already have an interest in it and some level of appreciation for what your mindset can do for your trading. But what I want to hopefully impart to you today is just how we can demystify trading psychology, because it can be a really abstract topic. It can be something that's kind of hard to actually implement. People know that it's important, but they're not so sure about how can they actually practically work on it so that they can see better results in the market. So I want to explain that in practical terms and hopefully demystify that for you today. And also, half an hour is a short amount of time to get across a lot of information. So what I've done is lasered in on 2 areas that are really crucial for your trading performance. So they are discipline and consistency. And I'm going to talk through 2 key things that you can do straight away. So you'll be able to implement them after this webinar straight away in your trading to see an uplift in your discipline and consistency. So that's my main aim for today, those 3 things. What we're going to go through is why mindset is critical to trading success. We're going to compare the technical and the mental edges. So I'm sure everyone's familiar with technical edge, but we're going to really define the mental edge. We'll talk about the key ingredients to building a rock solid mental edge and why you can conquer discipline without any willpower. And then lastly, we'll talk about how you can use a simple technique pre-market so that you can actually bring greater consistency to your trading. So that's what we're up for today. Now, I'm starting off with a very harsh stat, and my purpose is not to scare you or to demotivate you at the outset. But let's face the truth of trading. It's a pretty hard performance arena to excel in. Only about 1% of day traders can actually predictably profit net of fees. So I'm not making this up. This is taken from a research study. And 80% of day traders will actually quit within the first 2 years. So if you've made it past that 2-year time point, then well done to you. You're already well on your way and you're doing something right. And if you haven't made it to your 2-year mark yet, then hopefully the content of this webinar is going to help you along the way, along your journey, and get you over that milestone. Why is it that trading is so difficult? Well, there's the technical side of it. And yes, that takes time to perfect, to figure out your edge, to get really good at understanding all the technical pieces and at executing that in the market. But the learning doesn't just stop there. Once you know exactly what you should be doing, so let's say you have a very solid technical trading plan, you know exactly what your rules are, you know exactly what you should be doing to be profitable, and you've back tested that plan so that you know that you can trust in it. And if you were to execute it exactly like a robot, you would be profitable over time. Once you get to that point, you're only part of the way to actually really achieving long-term success in your trading. Because at that point, the biggest challenge becomes actually, how do you master yourself? When you know what you need to do, but you just don't do it. So you have this excellent trading plan that's well thought out, and then in the heat of the market, you just don't stick to your rules. That's exactly the part that I help people with. So that's where all of the training that I deliver comes in. It's helping you to actually execute the plan that you know is going to work for you if you just put it into place. So what does that look like in more concrete terms? You've got your plan, but you're just not sticking to it in the heat of the market. It could be that you're letting your emotions drive your actions. So you're feeling fear of missing out, and that drives you to take trades that don't fit your A+ setup criteria. Maybe you've taken a few losses and you feel angry, your emotions are really triggered, and you end up revenge trading. So you're determined to finish the day green at all costs. Maybe you go over your daily loss limit, maybe you're ignoring stops, and you're trying to really recoup those losses. So you're letting your emotions drive the actions that you take in the market, and they're overruling what you should be doing with your trading plan. What else might it look like? The inability to deal effectively with pressure. So if you can't master your own psychology, then pressure is going to, once you add pressure into the mix, it's going to really trigger any of the aspects of your psychology that are shaky. So that could result in you doubting your trading plan. So maybe you see your setup appear, but due to a fear of making mistakes or a fear of your plan actually not holding up, suddenly you're second guessing yourself. You don't even actually take the setup. You don't get into the trade in the first place. Or it could lead you to getting in or out of trades too early. So maybe you're in a winning trade, but you don't want to hold on. You actually jump out too early because you're afraid of giving back the gains that you haven't yet realized. Or it could lead to poor decision making. And then lastly, another example would be just suboptimal mental performance. So a lack of focus or attention. So maybe you're being distracted by thoughts of things outside of trading, or it could even just be the incorrect focus. So you're really focused on the P&L as opposed to the execution of your trading plan, or even you're looking at the wrong time charts than those that you should be looking at. So these are all examples of how it can play out in your trading actions if you're not really on top of your mental edge. So if you haven't crafted your trading psychology into something that's really supportive to you, you can succumb to all of these different ways that your trading psychology can actually cause you to deviate from your plan. So just quickly, before I jump onto the next slide, I have a question for you to throw in an answer to the chat. So if we're acknowledging here that trading is technical and psychological and that you need both sides of it to make it work, then what proportion would you guess is the trading psychology down to? So let's say if we were to say that a certain percentage of your trading performance can be accounted for by psychology, what percentage would you believe that to be? So maybe someone who thinks it's important, but not nearly as important as technical might say 5% of my trading performance could be accounted for by psychology. Somebody who really believes in it, and I'm seeing some percentages come in here, 80%, 90%. So a lot of people really believing that it's hugely important. Mark there is saying 75%, it's my biggest issue. And to be honest, it's really when people get the technical side of it, this does become the biggest issue. There can be people who are successful traders trading 20 years who still aren't fulfilling their true potential because the psychology piece is holding them back. So lots of really good answers there. And it does reflect what I'm about to show you here. So I'm glad that people are on the same page. my cursors aren't working on my keypad, so I have to go back to the thing here. Sorry. So I ran a recent poll on Twitter, or X as it's called now, and I asked the same question. So, what percentage of your trading performance is accounted for by psychology? And much like we're seeing in the room today, people said, the majority of people, so 60% of the respondents said that it was more than 75% psychology. So everybody here agreeing or pretty much on the same page that it's important. But let me put another question to you. So if we're saying, let's even take 75% as an average. I mean, I haven't added up all the figures, but let's say 75%, be a bit conservative. If 75% of your trading performance is accounted for by psychological factors, then think about all of the actions that you take in any given week where you're trading that are actions towards improving your trading or being profitable. So that would include, yes, the trades that you're taking while you're in the market, but also the preparation that you're doing, the fundamental analysis, the keeping up with the news, the reviewing your trades after you're done, setting goals, all of that. What percentage of those actions are focused on improving your psychology? So we're saying that psychology is really important, but if we were to actually break down how much time and effort do you invest in proactively improving your psychology, what would that look like? So anyone got any initial responses there, just gut reactions to that? How much of your trading week and the actions you take in your trading week are actually dedicated towards improving your psychology? So Rick is saying 50%. That's pretty solid. I mean, that's good. 0%, 20%. Great question there. Is it too much information or too little knowledge? So we feel that emotions take over. I'm going to address that. So there's quite a variety there. Some people are saying 20%, some people saying 70%. So basically what I'm trying to get across to you today is that you can take very specific strategic actions to improve your mental edge. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit more depth in a minute. So let's just look at, compare and contrast the technical edge and the mental edge. So the technical edge, everybody knows you need that to be a successful trader. Otherwise, if you didn't have that, you would just be kind of taking random actions and hoping that it would lead to profitability. And that's not really a good long-term plan. So you need a technical edge. So Investopedia, just pull this definition from there. A technical edge is a technique, observation, or approach that creates, I have to move my chat here so I can read it, a cash advantage over other market players. So basically, it could be technology that you're using. It could be a certain insight that you have into something like how climate patterns impact the demand for oil. It can be really varied, but basically you need some sort of way of reading the market and some sort of information that helps you in order to consistently execute your strategy so that you can be profitable. So that's your technical edge. And that requires a lot of effort. First, you have to find it. So there's tons of potential ways that you could develop an edge, and you have to find what works for you. So you find it, you develop it, you test it. You have to make sure that it actually is an edge. You use the data, you let that inform, or you let the data tell you if it actually is an edge or not. And then you refine it further. And then at the end of all of that, you have to execute it. And it's in the execution that the winners and losers are really made. So if you have the best trading plan, technical edge in the world, but you can't actually execute it in the heat of the market, well, then you're really leaving money on the table, or worst case scenario, you're losing your money. So this is where the mental edge comes in. And my definition for the mental edge is the competitive advantage that you experience when your mindset, emotions, and conscious actions all support the consistent and successful execution of your trading plan. I'm just seeing some notices here, messages asking me to speak slower. So sorry, I'll try. I do speak very fast. This will be recorded. So if anyone doesn't catch it, you can go back over it. And I will answer questions at the end. I should say that too. So the mental edge is basically when your emotions, your beliefs, and your thoughts and your actions all align and they all support you in executing your trading plan. So every piece of that pathway is all supporting you in executing your trading plan. Because basically that's what we're focused on. That's our goal with trading psychology, is to get you to execute your plan. And if you do that and you've developed a good plan that is, theoretically profitable, the results will take care of themselves. So that's what we talk about when we say a process focus. We want you to execute your plan to be able to do that under any conditions, under any level of pressure. So that really is the mental edge. Sorry, just stuck again. So the mental edge in action, what does that actually practically look like in your trading? So let's, make this as practical as possible. It looks like being able to consistently execute your trade plan. So no matter what the conditions, you're like a robot, you can just stick to your plan. It means that you can recover quickly from losses. So you're not caught up in, you take a loss and it makes you feel like a failure. And then that spurs on a lot of different ways of breaking your trading rules. You're able to reset, accept the loss, and get back on track really quickly. You're able to learn and improve from mistakes. So you have a growth mindset. You're able to accept that mistakes are part of the game. They're going to happen. And you don't hold on to them and beat yourself up. You're actually, again, able to reset very quickly and treat the next trade as neutral, even if you've made a big mistake. It means that you have the patience to wait for the right setup. So you're not jumping into every setup that moves. And you also have the courage to take the setup when it appears. It also looks like recognizing when your emotions might influence a trade and then taking appropriate action. And sometimes that can even be sitting out of the market on a day. So not taking any trades because you recognize that you haven't had sleep, that you're emotionally stressed, and that you most likely won't be on form if you go and risk money in the market. So sometimes not trading is the best action you can take. It also looks like being able to stick to risk and loss limits. So you've probably planned out very calculated risk and loss limits, and they're there for a reason. With your mental edge in action, you're able to stick to them. It also looks like maintaining discipline and making good decisions under pressure, being able to perform equally well on sim and live trading. I've mentioned losses before there, so accepting losses are part of the success journey. And really importantly, being able to compartmentalize trading and life, which is not always 100% possible, but the more that you're able to do this, the better your trading will be. And I have a solution for you towards the end of this webinar to talk through how you can put something practical in place to be able to help you to do that. You'd be seeking all opportunities to improve. So rather than seeing any losses, setbacks, red days as a sign of failure, you're taking the learning from all of those events, and then you're using it to fuel your growth and improvement as a trader. So that's what the mental edge looks like when it's in action. The ingredients for the mental edge. So obviously this is a really big topic and there's lots of different building blocks for the mental edge, but I just want to simplify it right down for the purposes of this webinar. And so I'm using this analogy of creating fire. You need oxygen, heat, and fuel in order to be able to produce fire. If any one of those components is not there, if it's missing, you're not going to be able to produce fire. And so it's the exact same with the mental edge. So the first aspect of the mental edge is mental conditioning. So they're the practical tools and techniques that you can use to develop the mindset that allows you to perform at the peak of your potential. So these are like using things like visualization, affirmations, goal setting, all of these practical tools that help you to create and cultivate a mindset that will elevate your trading. So that means having an optimal performance mindset. So some of the things we spoke about in the last slide, and also having excellent emotional regulation. So being able to really take charge of your emotions, to understand what it is that you're feeling, and then to be able to take action that allows you to buffer whatever emotion you have and make sure that that doesn't cause you to take any actions in your trading that results in you deviating from your trading plan. So mental conditioning is what elevates us from the level we're at to the level of our full potential. But once we get there, we need to be able to stay there no matter what level of pressure we're under. So this is where the resilience piece comes in. So in the resilience aspect of the mental edge, we're talking about the ability to perform exceptionally well under pressure. And let's make that even more simple. It means being able to actually execute your plan, stick to your rules, no matter how much pressure you're under. And a huge component of that is being able to recover well from mistakes, not getting bogged down in them, being able to reset to neutral. And then the other part of the mental edge is the habits and actions that support peak performance and your personal well-being. So you can't separate the person from the performer. Those two things are intertwined. So sometimes in order to perform at your peak in trading, you actually need to look at the elements that are impacting you as a person. Things like sleep, hydration, nutrition, the quality of your relationships, even how organized your daily routine is. So there's all of these habits and actions that underpin peak performance, and that you can actually develop and put in place these routines in order to create a really solid foundation for you to trade well. And that's a really important piece of the mental edge. And what underpins all of this, all of these three factors, is self-awareness. So the very first place to start with your mental edge is to get to understand yourself better. Get to know what are your triggers, what are the triggers that cause you to deviate from your trading plan, or to experience heightened emotions in the market, and then to be able to think out tools and techniques that you could use to manage that. So the more you understand the link between your own emotions, beliefs, thoughts, and your actions in the market, the more you'll be able to take control of them. So that's why self-awareness is absolutely key. So I'm going to talk now, I said I'd talk about discipline and consistency. So for the next few slides, I'm focusing on discipline because this is probably one of the biggest challenges that people face in terms of the mental side of trading performance. So indiscipline is any time that you're breaking your trading rules. So again, we're assuming, or we're making the assumption that you have a solid trading plan that's been back tested. And if you were to execute it like a robot over time, you'd be profitable. So the problem then becomes having the discipline to actually stick to it. And this is a huge issue. So what I see a lot of is that people think that if I just had more willpower, I'd be able to be more disciplined. So the answer to sticking to my trading plan and becoming profitable means drumming up additional willpower. And I'm here to tell you that that is absolutely not the case. And one of the biggest triggers for people in terms of breaking the rules is emotions. So people tend to vilify emotions, and they think that emotions are the reason why they're not profitable. And actually, that's also a misconception. And I'm going to explain why, and also what you can do to create more discipline now. So first off, I'm just going to ask you, and maybe just drop a why in the chat to let me know if you've ever heard of any of these, or maybe even tried them to try and improve your discipline. So a lot of the advice that's out there around how to become more disciplined in trading goes like this. Make candles all one color because red aggravates your mood. Focus on risk reward rather than the P&L. Hide your P&L. Trade higher timeframes. Reduce position size. Widen your stop loss. Use ranges instead of exact prices, or focus on your win rate instead of the P&L. And yes, these can be helpful, but they're also like sticking band-aids on a big open wound because they don't fully solve the issue. So I'm not saying don't do these things, but to expect that any of these solutions will completely cure indiscipline is a misconception. They just can't do it. And the reason is that all of these different suggestions here still require you to have willpower in order to remain disciplined. So what happens is, once you're trying to rely on willpower to deal with any strong emotions or to help you stay disciplined in the face of anger, frustration, FOMO, you are actually battling with massive internal resistance. There's a war going on inside you in your psychology, and it's like trying to beat back a tidal wave with a frying pan. It's just you're never going to win. But there is actually a different way to think about this and a solution, but it does require you going a little bit deeper into your psychology. And this is why if you're not afraid of facing yourself at that deep level and facing your deep subconscious beliefs, which I'm going to explain in a second, then you can, if you go to that level within yourself, it can really pay off in the market. So I'm going to use the example of a Lamborghini car. Stick with me on this to make this make sense. So basically, people think that emotions are the devil in trading. And if they could just trade like a robot, if they could trade like they had ice in their veins, then they would be able to stick to their plan. But it's actually not your emotions that are the problem. It's your subconscious limiting beliefs. So your subconscious mind is the part of your mind that rules 95% of your actions. And this is true in trading and outside of trading. It's just part of your psychology. So the beliefs that are in our subconscious mind are deep down, and we're not able to consciously articulate them unless we do some digging into our psyche. So they are impacting our actions, but they're outside the level of our conscious awareness. And this is why it's so important in trading. I'm going to use this analogy to explain why this is important and what we can do about it. So if you imagine that your emotions are just like flashing red warning lights on the dashboard of a car. So let's say we'll step away from psychology for a second and we'll just talk about, you've got this wonderful new Lamborghini car and you're taking it for a spin. You're driving to a specific destination. Maybe you're going to your friend's house to show it off to your friend. And suddenly you realize, oh my God, I've filled the Lamborghini car, which is a diesel car. I filled it with petrol, and you have a big problem. The warning light goes off on the dashboard and you're left trying to figure out, what am I going to do? So you could try and ignore the warning light because it's annoying you. Maybe you pull out the wire so you don't have to deal with it. Maybe you change your destination so that you don't have to drive as far, just to accommodate the fact that the car is not going to get you there anymore. Or what you can do is call the mechanic and actually deal with the problem head on. So you swap out clean out the engine, swap out the petrol for diesel, and hope to God that it's going to work. It's the same with our emotions in trading. So it's not the emotions that are the problem. If we think of our conscious mind as the driver of the Lamborghini, you know exactly where you want to go. You want to be a consistently profitable trader, and you are doing everything you can with your actions to get to that destination. But the warning light comes on. So you experience a highly charged emotion in your trading. That could be FOMO, anger, greed, whatever it is. And that causes you to break your rules. But like we said, the emotions are just the warning light. The real problem, or the real issue, is the gas that you're putting in your tank. So if we think of your subconscious beliefs as the gas that's in your tank, they can either be diesel, in this case, the right type of gas that's fueling your whole journey that will get you to your destination. And they could be beliefs that, I'm an excellent trader. I'm not attaching myself to worth to my trading results. Healthy subconscious beliefs will get you to your destination in trading. But more often than not, what happens is that people have deep limiting beliefs from childhood that are sitting in their subconscious, and they're sabotaging all of the conscious efforts that they're making to get to their trading goals. An example of a subconscious belief, limiting belief, that might be sabotaging you would be a money mindset belief. So, money is scarce. I never have enough money. If you have that belief and you're trading, that could cause you to stay in a losing trade too long because you feel that, there's never enough money. I have to cling on, I have to make this work. So that's a direct example of how your belief could impact your actions in the market. If you're fueling your tank with the wrong beliefs, then you cannot get to your destination. But the problem is not the emotions, they're the warning light. The issue to address is actually your beliefs. So if you want to screenshot this slide, I suggest that you do that if you're interested in this topic. Sorry, it's just jumped there. This will be really helpful. So what I'm giving here is a framework. Obviously, there's a lot of depth behind each of these steps, but I'm also going to give you a shortcut to this. So I'm not going to say the shortcut is as effective as doing the whole self-analysis piece, but I want to equip you with as many tools as possible here so that you walk away with some practical information that you can put to use. So this is a framework, and I'm suggesting that you screenshot this. If you want to conquer discipline in your trading, if you want to be able to 100% stick to your trading plan under any conditions, under any level of pressure, then this is a highly recommended process to go through. So you want to reprogram your subconscious mind for success. And the steps to doing that are to first literally write out what destructive habits are costing you money in your trading. So that could be, I jump into setups that don't meet my A+ setup criteria. I hesitate to take setups. I ignore my stops, whatever it is, concrete actions. Then ask yourself, what are the emotions that I feel directly before I take those actions. So that could be anger, FOMO, greed, impatience. And once you've identified those emotions, then 100% there will be subconscious limiting beliefs that are causing those emotions to appear. So the emotions are the warning lights, and it's the subconscious limiting beliefs that are the issue. And if you can actually write out those beliefs, so in the example we said about feeling like money is scarce, then that would likely be causing the emotion of panic, fear, greed, FOMO. But the belief is actually that money is scarce. So you want to reprogram that belief so that you can actually develop a healthier relationship with money. So for example, money is abundant. There's limitless opportunities in the market. I have enough money for everything I need. If you hold those beliefs at a very deep level in your subconscious mind, the emotion of panic, fear, frustration, greed, FOMO is not even going to arise in the first place. It won't get triggered. The warning light doesn't come on. And in that case, then you're not facing internal resistance. You're not battling with indiscipline and trying to solve it with willpower. The emotions won't even arise in the first place. So the point that I'm coming to here is if you can identify those limiting beliefs that are not serving you in the market and then reprogram them with beliefs that support your trading, you will be able to theoretically reach 100% discipline in your trading. And that's what I help people to do. So I know that that's quite deep psychology content. So what I want to do is give you a shortcut here. So again, just reiterating, the shortcut is not going to be as effective as doing this, going through this framework in a lot of depth. But this is a free affirmations resource on YouTube that's basically affirmations specifically for traders. So this is an audio tool to help you to program your mind with the beliefs that serve you in your trading. And I've created this based on this 4.5 years of working with traders and seeing the beliefs that serve people and that help people to get the best results. So you can use that tool, right now and I recommend listening to it every day. And there's comments there from people as well who are explaining like how it's helped them in their trading. So they're worth looking at. So that's a resource that you can use to help you to basically become more disciplined in your trading. But the way that it works is it works at the level of your subconscious beliefs. So I know I'm conscious I only have about maybe 6 minutes to go through this piece. So I want to make sure that we get through it and that there is time for questions. So I'll talk through this slowly but concisely. The second piece we want to look at is conquering consistency. So, you're being disciplined, but can you show up and do what you need to do day after day with no deviations in order to be consistently profitable? So how do we get to a level of consistency that supports us in meeting our long-term trading goals? I'm just going to talk about one piece of this. So one technique that we can borrow from professional sport, and again, like I said, my background is in helping athletes to achieve peak performance in sport. And there are a lot of mental training tools that have been tried and tested and researched, backed up by science in the sports arena that equally apply to traders. One of the most effective and one of the easiest places to start if you're looking to improve your mental training or improve your mental edge is to implement a pre-performance routine. So you might be familiar with this when you see athletes like on buses arriving at stadiums, they're listening to music, they've headphones on. That would all be part of them psyching themselves up for the performance, either using music, breathing techniques. You might have heard athletes like Michael Phelps talking about the routines that they go through before a performance to get them in the right mental and emotional state. And it's the exact same with trading. It's a high performance arena. And if you can actually take control of how you prepare mentally and emotionally, not just technically for your trading day, then you're actually able to control all of these factors that could be derailing you if you don't look at them. So let me just explain that in a concrete example. If you are having stress separate to trading, so maybe you had a fight with your spouse, you have a sick parent, you've got financial issues going on that are nothing to do with trading, and you go to the market and your stress levels are at 95%, you're going to have much less bandwidth for trading, for dealing with the emotions that come up in your trading, for making good decisions. But if you implement a pre-performance routine, you're putting a buffer in place between everything else that's going on in your life and your trading. So this is just at its most basic, a series of actions. And I'm going to give an example of what that might look like. It could take 10 to 15 minutes. And you would go through these same actions every day before you enter the market. And the purpose of this routine would be to get you into the optimal mental, emotional, and physical state to trade. So we would call that trading in your zone, figuring out the exact state that produces peak performance. So for some people, that might be being psyched up. So they find that if they do some press ups and they listen to rap music, and they get excited for the trading day, that puts them in a really good space to trade. For somebody else, it could be that they need to listen to classical music, calm down, feel totally relaxed, and that's when they trade at their best. So a pre-performance routine is just a series of simple actions that you execute or you put in place every single day in the same way before you trade. And what you're doing is, just like an athlete, you're actually taking control of your mental and emotional preparation, and physical as well, so that your body is in the right state too. And that will allow you to control all of the factors that are in your power to control, so that you are much more likely to have a consistent trading performance that day. So what can this bring to your trading? The better you prepare, so there's science behind this, the more prepared people are for a performance, and in this case, to go into the market, the more confidence you're going to have. So if you do this pre-performance routine, it's going to improve your confidence in yourself, in your ability to execute your plan, and also potentially in your trading plan. It allows you to actually take control of factors that, if you didn't take control of them, could be derailing your trading. And that's absolutely unnecessary, because these are things that you can take some small actions to change. And if you do this, so if you build this mental training routine, this pre-performance routine into your pre-market preparation, and like I said, it doesn't have to be something complicated, then this will significantly increase the likelihood of you sticking to your trading plan. And the beauty of this is that when you use this consistently, so it'll only work if you actually implement it every single day in the same way, even going through the routine itself then becomes a signal to your brain that you're getting ready to perform. So while I would recommend that your routine includes things like maybe meditation, affirmations, and some goal setting, they're the three that I really would recommend. Even if it technically included something like doing 5 press-ups and reading an inspirational quote, even just the fact that you are going through that same routine every day kind of builds muscle memory. And once you start into that routine, you'll be signaling to yourself that it's time to dial in your focus on your trading. So it can be a really powerful tool. And so I'm suggesting that you figure out, one, what is the state that you need to be in to produce peak trading performance? And then 2, what are the actions that you could take that would elicit that? So is it, I need to be pumped up, I listen to rap music? Is it, I need to be calm, very calm, relax in my body, so I do a meditation? This is kind of personal, so you have to figure out what works for you. So just really quickly, I'm going to explain the special bonus that is, and I have a few minutes for questions, I think. So a special bonus that I want to give you guys. So like I said, with everything that I've talked about today, you could take those practical suggestions, that affirmation script on YouTube, start implementing them right away. And, this should help your mental edge. But if you want to take it to that slightly deeper level and dip your toe into very concentrated mental training, then I have a course that's called 12 Minutes to Market Ready. And this is a short course. It's pretty straightforward to go through and to implement. And this will take you exactly through the steps that we just talked about, through building your own personalized pre-market mental training routine. And this routine consists of meditation, affirmations, and goal setting. But I walk you step by step through the creation of this personalized routine so that you can figure out what works for you, and then so that you can actually tailor this method to yourself to get the best results for you. So normally this course is $147, and for you guys, it's only $67. So that's more than 50% of a discount. And that's available up to October 3rd. So that's Tuesday at midnight Pacific time. The course is pre-recorded, so it's not live. I'm just seeing that question there. So it's not live. You can work through it at your own pace. I am actually having a special bonus live Q&A, which I haven't announced anywhere, but in a couple of weeks. So that will actually be available to all members of it, but that's a special bonus. So if you do sign up, you'll be eligible for that, but I haven't mentioned that anywhere yet. But technically this course is a self-paced course, but you have all of the resources that you need to help you to put this together. And tying it back to the idea of the subconscious limiting beliefs and programming your subconscious mind, a key piece of this course and this routine is affirmations for traders. So I've actually broken down a full affirmation script for traders, and I've explained what every single affirmation statement, what the challenge that it's designed to address. So you can actually, using this method, create your own affirmation script that is specifically tailored to the challenges that you're facing. And what I recently did was I took the affirmation audio that's on YouTube and included it as an MP3 in this specific course that you can download. So that's just another bonus. You'll be able to actually listen to that, wherever you want on your own platform. You won't have to listen to it on YouTube if you decide to go with this course. So like I said, this is just, and if you want to take your mental training to that additional level, but even if you don't go for this, what I've discussed in this webinar so far today should also help you. Like, there's practical techniques there that you can implement. This is just a way to, I guess, do it quicker and with more tailored assistance, because it's going to show you exactly what you do and take the thinking out of it for you. So I'm just going to wrap up there. I know we have a couple of minutes for questions, so I'm very happy to take any questions if anyone wants to just drop them in the chat right now. Is it actually 12 minutes? Sorry, great question. The course is not 12 minutes. The course is longer than 12 minutes. The routine that you create is 12 minutes long. And I even explain how to break that into sections. The purpose of that is that your mental training or your pre-market routine doesn't need to be something that is overly burdensome, long, something that you hate or dread putting into practice. And I'm very aware that, some people living on the Pacific coast don't have a lot of time to get ready for trading, or you'd be up very early in the morning. So we want to keep it as straightforward and simple as possible. So that's why this routine, if you use this method in this course, your routine will end up just being 12 minutes long. The course itself is longer than 12 minutes. But great question. Jesse is asking, how do I go about identifying my self-limiting beliefs? So also extremely good question and very pertinent and relevant, because that's such an in-depth topic. I haven't been able to explain that in full depth here. I do have a free trading psychology masterclass, which is on my website, so creativeperformance.com, which you can register for. And it talks about this in a bit more depth. But really my only solution, not my only solution, but the solution that I provide for this to help people to identify those beliefs is in my Go Deep to Level Up Your Trading course. So that's like my signature program. It's an 8-module course. There's, Q&A coaching in that, and online modules. And I literally walk people through how to exactly identify those beliefs. It's just another level of mental edge. So it's too complex. I wouldn't do it justice if I was to try and explain it, here in one webinar in a few minutes. But I do have a solution for that. It's the Go Deep to Level Up Your Trading course. And in the free webinar that's on my website, I talk about what's in that course. So if you're interested in that, I'm just actually going to drop the link to that free webinar here, if you're interested in learning more about just trading psychology or more about that course that I'm mentioning. So just give me 1 second. So that's just creativeperformance.com/masterclass-register. Hopefully that works. Someone is saying, do you coach poker players on their mental edge? I haven't. Technically I could, like, it's in my wheelhouse. The performance domain doesn't matter. The science is the same. So I could, but I haven't. just another couple of questions here. Samita is saying, my problem is after the course, how to follow every day in my trading or anything I do and my subconscious mind not overpowering. So again, that's a complex, that is the holy grail. So there's lots of different ways you can approach it. And I that's too big of a question to answer here. I recommend going to that free webinar on my website and looking into the course that will help you to do that. Richard is saying, I'm on the site, filled everything out, and when I hit complete order, nothing happens. Okay, I'm obviously going to have to check that out. I'm sorry, I hope there's not a technical glitch. I'll get on that literally as soon as I hang up here. So please bear with me. I'm going to look into that and hopefully maybe give it 5 minutes before you jump on it, and I will make sure that the tech is working. It was working earlier. Samuel is saying, I'll be in contact with you. Thank you so much. Yep, sure. My email is Creda. I'll put this in here, creda@credaperformance.com, and feel free to email me with any questions, feedback. performance.com if anyone wants to contact me. Jesse is saying, do you have any specific advice, techniques for traders with ADHD? I seem to battle with impulsive behavior a lot, which leads to overtrading even after making good profits. That is definitely something that's come up. So I have coached traders who have ADHD. It does pose a few more challenges around the brain chemistry, so impulsivity. But we do, some of that is actually about also figuring out what works for you. So it is possible definitely to work on impulsive behavior within trading, but you probably come at it from a lot of different angles. One of the angles that we look at it from is, in general for everyone, how does your brain chemistry impact your impulsivity? So for some people who are sensation seekers, they like risk, they like adrenaline, then they have to be extra careful that they are meeting their need for risk and adrenaline in areas that are outside of trading. So the same kind of principles can apply. It can be about managing this is slightly too complex to dive into in depth here, but just there are definitely ways to accommodate that or to take that into account when we're looking at the mental training techniques that we use. So it's about kind of understanding. The first step to it is understanding exactly what your triggers are. What are the factors that make that impulsivity worse? So even if it's there at a certain level all the time, there might be factors that make it worse. So for example, one technique that some clients I've had with ADHD that really helps them to focus is doing physical exercise. So they might even have a routine where if they find that they're starting to be impulsive, they're getting impatient, that they stop and they do some physical exercise routine. So this could literally be press-ups on the floor, like 10 press-ups, to kind of help them to expel that energy and to refocus. So again, that's very personal. That may not work for every person with ADHD. But if you figure out first what your triggers are, what makes it worse, then you can use that information to help you to start putting practical techniques in place that help you. So yeah, you're saying exercise helps you massively. If I go to the gym before trading, I always train better. So then that might be part of your pre-market routine. If it was possible, you might actually build that in and hold yourself accountable to that, because you know that going to the gym is going to help you to trade better. And therefore that's, going to the gym nearly becomes part of your trading routine. So just examples there, obviously a bit too complex to talk about in depth, but hopefully that's given you some ideas. You're very welcome.
All right. Well, I want to thank again, Creda, for taking the time to share with us today. If you enjoyed today's session, we hope you will join us in future webinars. Follow us on social media for alerts about upcoming events and other NinjaTrader ecosystem news. We would like to remind you that the information provided was that of Creda Performance and not of NinjaTrader. All information was for educational purposes and should not be construed as trading advice. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to see you in future webinars. Happy trading from all of us here at the NinjaTrader ecosystem.